KATIBA versus Detail Co. Infinity ceramic sealant. This is for you pros out there. You spray this on a wet panel. It's dilutable 3-to-1. It's a ceramic sealant that I'm sure is rated at months of protection. And then you have the enthusiast, KATIBA Signature Wax. I recently applied KATIBA Signature Wax on my Jeep. The only downside here is you have to dry your paint first. You don't use it on wet paint, and then you use it as your last step protection product. It was robust, but it was really fun to use, no scent, and the Jeep has had great gloss. In fact, the Jeep hasn't seen snow since then, and so I don't know what's gonna happen with hydrophobics. Infinity ceramic sealant, I've heard great things about. This you apply on wet paint. So if you're a pro out there, you wash the car, wet paint is a drying aid, boom, you're done. Dilutable 3-to-1, you know I didn't dilute it, but that's also a huge bonus. So today I'm gonna polish this hood. I just did a wash outside. I wanted to wash outside because it's so beautiful and I could wash in a t-shirt in the middle of December. I said, yep, I'm gonna do it. So there wasn't a ton of strategy around this wash. I just tried to be in the sun as much as I could. I washed. I actually used Infinity everywhere else because, hey, after I was done with the rinseless wash, I had a drying aid, bada bing, bada boom. I left the hood, but it's been ceramic coated with C6 Hydrolite. It's also seen NV and ceramic gloss and quick beads and Josh V, so there's a lot of protection on there. We just want to braid that. We're going to use the yellow waffle pad from DIY Detail Gold Standard Polish. So I'm just going to basically prep this hood after that with panel prep, and then a 3-section test. You guys, this KATIBA side looks like a ceramic coating. This is crazy. Application and performance. Okay, DIY Detail panel prep is next. We want a virgin hood. We wanna do a few sprays onto my towel, and then just do a dry buff just like that. Make sure nothing gets left in suspension. Usually 2 towels is the method here. However, I just have one. So we're trying something here. We're panel prepping. We're doing it well. All right. Truth be told, I've never actually done one of these tests before. I think I did a rinseless wash test back in 2017. I don't know why I made the control section so large. Maybe I just don't want to cross-contaminate. Anyway, we're not gonna do anything here. Coated, polished, panel prepped. Who knows what the behavior here will be, but we're gonna leave this to be KATIBA and that to be Detail Co. Now remember, Detail Co, wet paint, clean wet paint. So what I'm gonna do here is spray a little bit of rinseless wash on there. I could have used my sponge, that would have been fine too. Probably a little more precise. But again, this is your wet panel after washing. Let's even do what we do in the wash. We would wash it first, right? I decontaminated earlier with that small decon towel we debuted at SEMA. It wasn't too bad. Now, of course, we want to keep the panel safe with the quad fold towel, but it was really nice on glass, front bumper, and I did use it on the hood. All right, Detail Co Infinity ceramic sealant. 1 spray is all you need. You can dilute it 3-to-1. I've said that before. Very economical for the pro, and just 1 spray, that's it. So I hope not, I saw a little mist go there. That's why we left a lot of control section. If I messed up a little bit along the edge, just look at the center, okay guys? So we're just drying as we would, detailing professionally, or we just want a little bit of a quicker wash. I used this as my drying towel before with Infinity, so not to worry there. Same product that might still be on there. But we're just gonna dry, it being a cold day. Not too cold, but cold in my garage, I guess you could say. Everything seems to be drying slower today. All right, this is my panel prep towel, so I'm just gonna try to preserve the integrity of this edge with a little more panel prep. And just remember, let's just watch the center of that control section to compare side by side. But as for here, it's pretty much dry. What I noticed with Infinity when I used it, it's a very robust product, so you gotta respect it. Don't go over 1 spray a panel. There's literally no need. I was making sure I went back a couple, 3 times just to knock off any possible high spots. It's not that it's hard to use, it's that it's super robust. 1 spray is all you need. The gloss is great. We're gonna test this tomorrow, guys. We're gonna give this overnight, but so far super easy to use. No high spots whatsoever, everything dried off nicely, and great gloss. All right, folks, KATIBA Signature Wax. Love their swagger, love the labels. It says spray 1 to 2 times on the panel. Then spread the product evenly with a microfiber towel. Use a second towel to buff off any excess products. Try to keep this fair. Let's go from this side. All right, so there you can see the product. It's actually kind of a white substance and kind of milky, and you don't get any fancy chemical smells here. You get pure chemical, it's like telling you we're here to get to work. I'm gonna make sure that this spreads, and it does kind of sit on the panel a little bit. You can kind of spread it like peanut butter here. This is the one of the two products that I noticed you really want your second towel for. You don't want to just buff this once, or even with the dry side of this towel and just walk away, because you'll get careless. So this was just an auto fiber double flip I had as my second towel. It's time to do laundry at the new place, and I haven't done my towel since I moved. So my bad, but that second towel is super easy. I would say more meditative, potentially more glossy, but it's actually impossible to say because the gloss over there on Infinity is looking amazing. We're just gonna let this sit. We're gonna drive it. We're gonna let it sit overnight, and we're gonna test the water behavior. I'm talking real world testing here. Give it 24 hours and I'll be back. Just a quick look over. I mean, am I wrong? Does the KATIBA wax side look darker? That just shines like a coating. That's like glass. Of course, I don't know if it's the angle. Ooh, they both have a warmth and a coolness. Just a wax-like glow and that mirror-like finish that you're used to in a coating. I love both. Am I crazy? Am I looking for things? Or do you see it too? All right, y'all, new day, new setup. I'm just making sure I'm in the sun, so I waited till the afternoon. So it's actually been 24 hours. What happened in the last 24 hours? I drove this vehicle to Salt Lake and I drove it back, which means about 2 hours of drive time on the roads. It hasn't snowed yet, but I also let this sit out overnight. And remember, Infinity is on the right-hand side of the paint. Let's look at what it looked like in the morning, kind of that frosty dew. The center section looked different than the rest of the hood. So again, left side or passenger, we're talking about KATIBA. Center section, test, nothing, just panel prep. And of course the driver's side or the right side is going to be Infinity ceramic sealant. Let's take a look at water behavior a day later, and then we'll wash it and we'll see if anything changes. But let's just start with the water beading test. What happens? Nice crisp water beads. Okay, let's try the center section, the test, the control. An interesting kind of sheeting area here, not exactly sure, but that looks the most like the control section, right? We've got really tight microscopic water beads here, kind of some weird sheeting here, and then this middle section, who knows what's going on there. As I pressure wash, look at how fast the water evacuates, right? The self-cleaning ability there, and it's just so slowly moving there. All right, time for KATIBA. Holy cow. KATIBA water beads are wild. You guys, look at the water beading with KATIBA. Very, very quick evacuation here. Very tight water beads here. And then you can kind of just see how blah this is, but wow. You guys, this KATIBA side looks like a ceramic coating. This is crazy. And that looks like really nice behavior. Like that's a nicely protected panel over there. But I guess the hyper on KATIBA is real. I mean, that's very impressive over there, I'm not gonna lie. This looks like a ceramic coating though. I'm not saying this is winning. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm pretty impressed. If tight water beads are your thing, whew, KATIBA's the real deal. And again, I just want to show you before we even wash the paint. I mean, the integrity of these water beads, they're like perfect. And you can see how it's just sheeting off here. Nothing going on here. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a super aggressive cleaning here, but I am gonna put rinseless wash on the surface. We're gonna introduce a chemical and a little bit of agitation, and then we're just gonna see what happens to this paint. So we're making sure there's chemical on there. Rinseless wash, 256 to 1. In the keg. Oh no. Oh no. I've messed the cordless pressure washer up. It's not the last time. It's certainly not the first time. The problem with my driveway here, it's all dirt. So anything that falls, we're introducing risk. So we gotta clean that off again. It does have a nice little filter on there though. This is the Ego cordless pressure washer. It takes a while for this thing to get primed again. We're good. Let me bring you in and show you what it looks like just after rinseless wash. Again, the KATIBA section water beads look like a freaking ceramic coating. There's nothing going on here. And this looks nice. This looks like protected paint, right? Remember I kind of sprayed over on this side and then I agitated it in and then I like flipped sides of my towel. So the further over to this side you go, maybe the more we're risking like Nick applied it wrong. Looks pretty good. I'm just wowed by the water beads. Water beads aren't everything, folks, but they certainly are fun to look at. All right, so we've introduced the chemical. A little bit of dwell time. Now we're gonna agitate. So after agitating, this is the KATIBA side. This is the control section. And this is Detail Co. I mean, there is clearly something on the paint working to protect my paint there. Clearly we have nothing there. And obviously, you can see that very distinct line from KATIBA Signature Wax. Okay, y'all, now after the wash, let's see what's left over. I mean, what else is there to say? Look at how quickly it evacuates off the side, by the way. So we're not saying water beading is everything. The water evacuated quickly. A ceramic sealant should promote self-cleaning. And look at how quickly the water gets away, encapsulated in the dirt. In fact, this panel is drying faster, which I kind of like. This one's evacuating very slowly. And then here, I mean, geez, those water beads. If you want crazy water beads, I think we have a winner. I'm just not declaring water beads the only thing that anyone should ever care about. But if you happen to like them, KATIBA Signature Wax is legit. So there you have it, folks. What do you think about my test? Flawed, perfect, okay, not okay? I didn't like the hassle of having to dry my paint first and apply the wax. I do happen to love these beads. I love this. I don't like that, right? We have no protection there. And KATIBA just blew me away. I haven't played around with Infinity enough. I know that everywhere else that I applied it on the paint, I'm seeing amazing water beads, right? I'm using it as a topper on my existing ceramic coating. So I'm seeing nice beading there. But wow is all I have to say about KATIBA. If you are curious and you want to get any of these products, they're on thehouseofrags.com. Simply go to thehouseofrags.com, use promo code NICKATNIGHT. It'll save you 10% off. Again, that's promo code NICKATNIGHT, one word, at thehouseofrags.com.